Ooh. Oh dear. Ooh. Ooh. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Hello, hello, hello. Greeting, welcome, salutation. How the devil art thou? Oh, that's been a week. Howdy, Sammy. How you doing? But at least that week's over now, and I can relax. Yay, week off work. Just walking out the door. Oh dear. Right. So, well, you caught me just awoke. I've not been awake long. Mary's not been over today because I had a bit of stomach troubles. The usual. Um, and, smell, me running off to the loo. Not good. The thing seems to have calmed down a bit now, so we shall see. Woke up at 4. Yeah, I wasn't far after you. I spent most of the rest of the day sleeping on and off, so sleep, toilet, sleep, toilet, sleep, toilet, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've done today. And went for a nap at 3. Thought I'd be plenty of time. Woke up about 20 to 6. Oh well. Um, so yeah, just woke up, hay fevery. At least my hair's in some kind of condition. Um, yeah, chaotic week at work. Water changes on Monday. Garden work Monday and Wednesday. Um, yeah, so hopefully a relatively chill week this week. I might even be able to catch a couple of people's live streams. You never know. Yeah, it's been one, and there is some kind of good news. The escaped Limia that are in that tank there, that escaped from the one behind me, where Mummy Limia jumped in the breeder box with the baby bristlenoses, gave birth and jumped out again. Yeah. The babies that were in there have now had babies, so we now have 2 breeding colonies of them. Joy. Um, yeah, so it's been one of those. Uh, I don't think there's anything much I've actually done this week other than, well, feels like work. um, Not a huge amount, I don't think. Yeah, work, chores, water changes, and gardening. Although I did have a bit of a demulm and a de-snail in the fry rack because I figured that might be why the bristlenoses weren't growing very fast, is that the snails were eating all the food. Just a surmisation. So, yeah, that's that. Um, Howdy, Tommy, Spexy Beast. And it's also been a rather warm week as well. Um, Temperature got up to sort of 28 degrees Thursday, Friday. Started to cool off yesterday, so it was like 22. And today is about 13. And raining. Well, say raining. We've had a few showers. I haven't actually seen any of them. But the soil's wet, the ground's wet, and there's raindrops on the glass. So that's what I'm saying has happened. But at least it saves me from having to water the plants again, I suppose. Whole heap of bulbs coming out. Last 3 weeks we've had maybe 3 dry days. Have you stolen our weather, Tommy? Because I think we've had 3 rainy days since the beginning of March. Grey, dreary and wet. It's just preparing you to move to the UK, that's all it is. 13 is... Hang on, have I got a temp do for here? 13 somewhere around about 50 degrees. Whereas Friday, Saturday it was around... Or Thursday, Friday it was around 85. So yeah, it's dropped like 30-degree foot in 2 days, or overnight pretty much. Building a micro picket fence around the raised beds against the house to keep the ducks out. You're quackers. I mean, at least it will make it slightly harder for them to get into the beds. I'm assuming you're growing vegetables and you don't really want them eating those. Yeah, I've not been doing that. But yeah, I did finish off all the weeding or clearing what was the lawn in the garden, and then got all the weed-proof membrane down. Ducks don't move around very easily, so maybe a 10-inch rise. I'm going to make it about 2 foot. Now, tall enough the ducks can't get over it. Tall enough, chances are you're going to trip over it at some point. As long as you don't trip over one end and impale yourself on the other side. But yeah, so I've got to order up the bark for the garden. I've no idea how much I need, so I'm going to order 300-litre sacks. Because if you buy 3, they're cheaper. So I'll start off with 3 and see if I need any more. Probably will, because I'm probably going to go rather deeper than they say to do. But yeah. Making it look like a little picket fence will make it, yeah, it'll look prettier. So mine is just the galvanized steel edging that I've stuck in around everything. It's more to keep a solid divide between where the bark is going to be and where the borders are, or the beds. I just don't want grass anymore. Grass is nasty. It's a lot of hard work for no gain. Animals don't like it. Well, the kind of wild animals that the light that's coming in and out my garden, it's no good for them. It's no good for me because it just traps all the pollen, and then when I cut it, I get a face full. So I figured just get rid of it. And at some point, I'll clear it out the front as well. That can be next year, though, I think. I think I've pretty much had enough of doing heavy-duty garden work for a year. But yeah, hopefully this week I'll get the bark down, get the holly tree chopped down, and if I'm really lucky and really work too hard on my week off, chop out the dead wood from the big shrub. But yeah, that'll be plenty, I think, for a week off. So I've also got to book an eye test. Want to go for a ride if we get a decent day. Still debating whether to go out to the city and get a new phone. That's going to take like half a day and just be hell. And yes, I know it's in term time, so it won't be full of children, and it'll be during the week, so there won't be tons of random people just ambling about, perusing, getting in the way. I never understood that whole going into town or up to the city to look around, not particularly got anything in mind that you want to get or need to get. You're just going for a look and a coffee. You can have a coffee at home. You're just wasting. I mean, I say you're just wasting time. I'd probably just sit and surf the internet or watch YouTube videos and have a nap, which is no more or no less time wasting, but it's just annoying. It's like the whole thing. The new thing with the HelloFresh adverts over here, at least, is that with HelloFresh, it saves you having to go shopping every day and make a choice on what food to buy. There's an easy way around that. Just go shopping once a week. And then what you've got in the house is what you're eating that week. It doesn't matter if it gets near the end of the week and there's nothing you actually fancy eating, because that's what you're eating. You don't just go out and buy more food because I don't really fancy that now. Tough. What is that? No, just a patch of white in amongst some of the darker grey. Yeah. I've never been one for this daily food shop thing that's happened in the UK over the past however many years. It all comes from the shops because they want you to go in there every day, because it's been proven that if you go shopping every day, you spend more money overall. Because every time you go in, there's more chance you're going to buy something you don't actually need. Whereas if you go in once a week with a list and you only get what's on the list, you don't spend extra money. And the shareholders don't like that, because then they don't get even richer. Yeah. But yeah, that's enough grumbling about consumer culture, I think. But yeah, the older I get, the less I enjoy being in a crowded shopping area. the more I'd rather be somewhere quiet. Just, and let's be honest, most of the stuff you're better off just looking at it on the internet and seeing what you want to get anyway, and then getting it because it's going to be cheaper. Howdy, Jeffy. How you doing? Especially in the UK, it's how it works. Order something somewhere online, you'll get it cheaper than you would in a shop. And price matching policies now, which used to be fairly regular and common. Bloomin' heck, Jeffro, how you doing? Yeah, so the price matching policies used to be fairly simple, but these days they will only price match if there's a brick and mortar store, and I think most of them it usually has to be within a certain amount of miles or distance or time. And then you're like, yeah, basically you're saying you're not going to price match someone who's online. Fair enough. And I understand it, because price matching an online seller that doesn't have an actual storefront, an actual brick and mortar store that they have to pay business rates and electric and water and insurance and blah 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 blah. Yeah, you can't do it, because you'll probably be selling it for less than you paid for it. So Sutcliffe pipe tobacco pass. I've not seen it, but then I don't tend to go. Well, I don't go to the more sort of specific tobacconists. I just grab whatever is in the local, well, convenience store. So what's this, Gold Block? What was the other one I had? Gold Block, and there's another cheap one. Well, I mean, that's the thing with pipe tobacco in the UK. It's a lot cheaper than rolling tobacco, which is a lot cheaper than cigarettes. Scotty, how you doing? Vanilla custard. Oh, I really shouldn't. Completely lost on me. You got more news? I know you said you're expecting, but you're not expecting multiples, are you? Or are you finally going to make Paige an honest lady? I'd do it because it's cheaper, basically. So when I'm sitting around at home not doing anything, why bother with roll-ups when I can just fill the pipe, have a few tokes, put it down, and job done. Plus, it's gives me something to do with my hand when I'm not. And when it's cold, it's nice and warm to hold onto the bowl. You've been engaged for a while. Well, I knew that. I was wondering if you'd set a date. Ooh, wonder what that was. Pipe drippage. Who's then, Scotty? And give Paige a hug for me as well. Yeah, I've got no sense of smell and very little sense of taste because of that. So tobacco to me is tobacco. I can't really tell any difference between cheap and expensive and flavoured and whatever. It's just backy. Here's what you got. New jobs. Going to be teaching martial arts again and moving to the beach. Upside on one, downside on the other. You got a job doing what you actually enjoy doing, and you're moving somewhere sandy. So happy to get out of this house built in 1914. What, you mean a new build? Still a new house, Scott. I know what America's like, but a 1914 build is a good house. A 2014 build, I would not want to live in. Not without having a lot of money behind me to fix all the problems. Electric bill was 1,546. How the heck is your electric bill that high? Damn. Oh, that's either you're running a lot of burning a lot of electric, or you got an electric leak somewhere. One of them. Oh, yeah. That, or you're living in the Maryland equivalent of Ilvanog out in less than a month. Somewhere a little more modern. Yeah. See. Over here we cherish older houses because they're better built with better quality materials. And I don't mean oak instead of pine. um, Solid walls, no drywall as you'd call it, or plasterboard as we call it. What's new with me? Nothing really. Same old, same old. You know what I'm like. I try not to do too much too interesting as life progresses. Yeah, you want a bit of character, a bit of age and feel about a house. I find. I mean, I know mine's 1980s, so it is to me pretty new built, but thankfully it's just old enough before they started putting in drywall, dot and dab, plasterboard, whatever you want to call it, anywhere they could. So it's all brick. There is one plasterboard wall in the house, and that's because it's unsupported. So they didn't really want to be putting bricks in because of the weight. But yeah, my house is. I mean, the outer walls are a row of bricks, insulation, a row of concrete blocks, plaster. Really unique. Love the beach house type look. See, I've never really been one for beaches or beach houses. They just, to me, a beach house always just looks like somebody'd go on holiday for a week. Oh, so, yeah, to me they look like holiday homes, and most of them tend to be in the UK anyway. Because the only people who can afford a beach house are the rich people who don't live there all year. Um, yeah, I'm more of a rusticy old kind of vibe. Um, you know, exposed beams and wonky walls and all that kind of good stuff. I mean, the two favourite houses I've lived in, not necessarily the, what happened while I was living there, but one was in the Doomsday Book, which means 1,000 years old, basically. Well, yeah. And the other one was Tudor. I think it was like 400 or 500 years old. Um, awesome houses. And the one that was in the Doomsday Book, there wasn't a single straight line in it. The machine gun turrets on the grass. See, I would get rid of all the grass. Grass is nasty. Pointless hard work, as I was saying earlier. With the way new loaches are going, if you can find another starter mixing with the Taekwondo, you'll have a more successful loach. And peeps want a mix of loaches these days. Taekwondo, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, and adding kickboxing. I'm decent with a bow staff. You see, I read that as I can hit people with a stick. Yeah, sounds very farmery, that does. Get off my land! Whack. Although these days you're more likely to get shot by a shotgun. Again. I can spin it before I hit you and make it look cool. Well, yeah. I can do that with a sword, though. And sword beats stick. Sorry. Me too. Oh, God. Takamine no Kun. The favourite kata. Okinawan bow kata. Yeah, don't expect me to be pronouncing Japanese or Chinese. Well said. I probably butchered it. Don't find swords on the street. You might find a stick or a broom. Yeah, but I mean, the only time I've ever had any issues on the street in the UK was really late at night when everyone around was really drunk. These days I don't drink and I don't go out late at night. I tend to prefer to go out earlier on. Knife fighting. Yeah, that gets reported a lot, doesn't it? The knife crime epidemic. Well, yeah, I mean, it turns out people are people. If you take away the guns, they're going to use something to stab each other with. Right? But that's, like most things, pretty much just in the bigger cities. Yeah, we've got Savate and Krav Maga. Oh yeah, there are knife fights, but it's not knife fighting. It's usually a bunch of teenagers deciding to beat someone up and they've got a knife. That's what it is. So the government keeps clamping down and having changing the law on what you're allowed to carry. Basically making it smaller and smaller. So yeah, it's no lockable blades, and I think it's nothing longer than 1.5 inch blade now, something ridiculous like that. But it doesn't matter because you can still buy kitchen knives which have got 12-inch blades on them, and it's not Rambo knives as they call them, or survival knives as anyone with any common sense would call them. Yeah, there's no place exempt of having something pokey they can stop you with. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it seems that they report it more now and they make a bigger story out of it. Oh, in that case, because I thought Paige was similar to me. Get Paige listening, or you can replay it for her. 29.5 minutes in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gigla. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. There we go. You're welcome, Paige. Miss ya. And if there are people here who don't remember Paige, like weren't Fish Fammy peeps back when Scotty was doing his live streams, Paige has got the best giggle on the planet. Absolutely awesome giggle. Let's go celebrate. Talk later. Miss you too. Have fun and have one for me because it's my getting older day this week as well. Actually, technically, it's closer to today than it is to next weekend. But when you get to my age, you really don't care. But yes, happy 18th again, Paige. Oh dear, I went down the wrong hole. Something you never want to say to your missus. God dear. But yeah, I'm 49 this week. Mind you, get that out of the way, and then I can get ready to start winding up Mary because she's. Oh, pardon me. Because Mary's 50 this year, so there will be lots of old jokes going around. Probably some cricket ones as well, but 50 not out. That's just the way of the world. Yeah, so for the moment, I'm the toy boy. I have a cougar. Give it a few days and we'll be the same age again. So I won't be able to make them in jokes, not until December. But yes, that means I'm going to have to put some serious thought into this year's birthday presents because they're going to have to be expensive. Well, no, they don't have to be expensive. There's going to have to be lots of thought go into them. Let's put it that way. Bugger off, fly. Um, yes, it's also that time of year in this part of the UK where if you open a window or a door, you're going to get a fly come in, at least one. Normally, you'll think it's one, and you'll finally splat it, wallop it with a slipper or something, and then another one will land on you. Like, oh, for crying out loud! But at least there don't appear to be too many mozzies about at the moment because I did only get bitten twice this week. It's probably the same one because it's two very close places on the back of my arm. Um, Not a lot we can do about that because I'm not going to put insect repellent on every time I want to go out into the back garden. Let's be honest. Um, hmm. Yes, I know I'm probably the only person that inhales pipe smoke. It's all about the flavour and the taste. Yeah, I can't taste it. So, what else we got to talk about? Yeah, we do have the possibility of injury this week of me doing a Sharpie. Because when I do chop that holly tree down, pardon me, that was brave. Um, yeah, I'm going to have to catch it because I can't trim all the way to the top because it's about 15, 20 feet tall now. um, so yeah, I'm going to have to trim as much as I can out of it and chop it off pretty much as high as I can and then catch it. Which, being a holly tree, means is really spiky and horrible. Probably quite heavy because it's a very dense wood. Yeah. Which is also coincidentally why I haven't planted anything underneath it or in that general area. Because why plant something if it then just means I'm going to end up trampling it when I go and get rid of that? So once that's gone, yeah, and the bark down, that'll be all the heavy lifting and shifting, as it were, in a garden. It'll just be the fun stuff then. And I can concentrate more on getting back on the bike. So one of my days off each week, I will use that if the weather's decent enough to go for a bike ride rather than spend it pulling muscles and giving myself injuries out in the back garden. Lots of bending, kneeling, and squatting, and my body's never enjoyed that. Given the unique way in which my hips aren't properly formed, it causes issues, shall we say. And pulling your gluteus maximus muscles is not a nice way to spend a day. Or going to stand up again and realizing you can't because your back's locked and your hips are locked and you're, oh. But you go to stand up, oh, no, do it slowly. Oh, there we go. There's a old and broken. Perhaps I need to do some kind of exercise that might strengthen my muscles. Oh yeah, cycling. That'll do the trick. So at some point this week, I'll probably go out and have for me, short bike ride. Although I've got to do a bit of cleaning and servicing on the bike first. At least pump the tyres up a bit more and tighten up the cone nuts on the back. Yeah, it works out your legs, your lungs, your heart, but it doesn't put any real strain on the joints. It's, so not no strain on the joints. There's no impact strain. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I've got good range of motion. That's not the problem. The problem is excess motion in directions they shouldn't move. Yeah, get back on the bike and It'll probably kill me that first ride and the second ride, and give it 2 or 3 and my body will get back used to it again. I've got a new saddle which my butt's got used to for going to work and back now. It's a much narrower saddle with a lot less padding on it. But we shall see how it does on like a 14-15 mile ride. If my butt goes numb after 2 miles, it's not going to be much fun. And I've not really been on a decent ride of any distance since I put the suspension handlebars on, or suspension stem, and the new bars. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, first things first, pump up the tyres and tighten up the rear wheel, because that's doing weebbly wobblies. That's just the bearings wearing in and or out. It just needs a bit of a on the cone bearings on the back, and that'll be right as rain again. And it is literally probably about 1/8 of a turn that's needed. It's just getting the bike up in the stand, finding the tools, and doing it. And not over tightening it either, because if you over tighten it, then you crush the bearings and make it harder to pedal. I'll get that sorted, and while I'm doing that, I'll clean and relube the chain and derailleur and that kind of stuff. Might do that Tuesday, actually. Sounds a good plan for a Tuesday. Again, providing it's not blowing a hoolie outside and horrifically cold or anything stupid like that. Yeah. Get working on the fitness and shed some of the winter timber. Although I am the same weight I was last summer, but I've gained a lot more fat than I had last summer, which tells me I've lost muscle mass, and it's probably all in my legs. So yeah, get the fat turned back into muscle again, and we'll be good to go. Don't worry, no ridiculous rides planned for this year, because it was this week last year that I did, actually this day last year, that I was cycling the Peddars Way. On this day last year, I cycled 67.5 miles, and it was about now that I got to where I was going to camp for the night. Yeah, it was about 6:45. Yeah, I was setting up camp this time last year. I was like, yep, I'm going to get a nice early night, and then I can have plenty of sleep and plenty of rest. Then I'll be awesome I'll be out, the ride home will be, it's only 30 odd miles, that'll be nice and easy tomorrow. Yeah, that didn't happen, did it? Oh, and I had a fairly early night, because I was in the middle of nowhere and it got dark by about 8:30, so there wasn't a lot I could do. Yeah, I had muntjac barking in the woods, and then finally got a bit of sleep, and then the pheasants started. So basically by the time it got light the next day, what was it? It was about 6 o'clock in the morning when I set off on the way home, having fixed a puncture. Way out of shape. Finally not sick anymore, but no endurance, low O2 levels, lost 10 pound. You didn't have 10 pound to lose. I could lose 10 pound, nobody would notice. Yeah, this is the COVID thing. I've found that as well. You just struggle to breathe. You do anything and it wipes you out. Really horrible. Yeah, I think we should probably be around the same weight. Oh, I lost 14. I'm around 200, I think, at the moment. So I should probably lose a stone or two, but I'm old. Now, once you start getting to my age, doctors stop worrying about whether you're a little bit overweight or not. It's if you're massively overweight, obese, then they'll say things. But I'm probably a lot fitter than most people my age are. 12 stone now. Yeah, I'm 14 at the moment, or just under. So, and I carry most of that on my midriff. If I get much bigger, I'm going to need a bra. Let's be honest. I don't think they make them in my size, so I highly doubt they make like a 42B. 42 or 44, something like that. I'm big around the chest, okay. Yeah, unless that extra 2 stone was just fat, then you'd have a beer belly. Yeah. As I say, I'm just that age now where I appreciate the story, yeah. So you can get ill and you've got a bit of backup. Yeah. It does actually make things easier. And I'm wondering how all these super fit young people will be when they start getting ill and catching things and they realise they've got no stores of fat or anything to rely on. Could be interesting. But I'm really fit. I go to the gym 5 times a week. Yeah, there's your problem. You need some meat on your bones. Yeah. Seriously ripped. I don't think I've ever been ripped in my life. No, I've been heavier than that. I've been 2 stone heavier than I am now, which is 28 pounds. So that was big. But then I was also in my 30s and doing a fairly physical job at the time. So it was 185 and hard as a rock. Well, I mean, if training has that effect on you, yeah. Um, so I'm more concerned with cardio. keeping, you know, getting my lungs and my heart working better than looking all ripped. I mean, my legs are pretty much scarily ripped as it is. Because the weather got good enough for other people to start wearing shorts at work this week. And yeah, I've got the best legs, including the women. Despite all the scars and the hairiness and blah blah blah, I've got the best legs. Didn't even work out. Yeah, so but yeah, this is the thing. It's not necessary. This is what people forget. It's not all about going to the gym and doing something 10 times or whatever. It's it's your body is enough to work your body. It's and if I hold my body in any position for 5 minutes, something's going to lock up. I mean, I just really don't get the whole gym thing. It's like just get a hobby and not running, because running will destroy your knees and your back and your feet. Get on a bike or go walking or anything like that will do you far more good. Hello, Donna, me darling. How the devil are you? Well, I mean, look at Tai Chi. Tai Chi gets people fit, keeps people fit, especially as they get older. Called Sanchin Kata in Okinawa and Samchin in China. Or in Ireland, it's known as Samhain. Donna Mum, oh dear. Donna's not that old. I figured you'd at least get the joke, Tommy. Yeah. It's double M and with an A, not an E, but yeah, close enough. Yeah, so I know when I was doing martial arts, what was it I was doing? Shotokan and Taekwondo. I was really fit. Then I was also of an age where I was cycling everywhere, playing football for hours and hours a week. That's English football, not American. So didn't stop every 3 seconds for a rest. And all this worry about correct hydration. You've got to be fueled and hydrated. And no, it has to be the correct food. It has to be the correct sports food. No, because these numbers on this packet. Just take a damn sandwich with you, dude. Oh, and then this carbohydrate powder that you add to your water. What? You mean it's got sugar in it? Dude, just take a bottle of damn Coke with you. You've got caffeine gels and a carbohydrate drink. Just take a bottle of Coke and a sandwich. It'll do both jobs. Back on the bottom pagan circle, actually, Salmon ritual a few lifetimes ago. We definitely got pagan or Wiccan groups around here somewhere. This is more than once now. I've been wandering around an old woodland and found various usually crows or jackdaws, either nailed to trees or wired to trees. And first time I thought it was probably just some edgy teen, and no, it's not. On the way back from abandoned fishing grip due to the weather and ended with a pub crawl. And old Uncle Buckland brought it over here along with Mr. Crowley. Dun, dun, dun. What's going on in your head? Yes, had to drop a bit of Aussie in there. Yeah, that is the problem with sea fishing. The weather gets a little bit squiffy, it gets really not fun. There's a duck in here. But yes, I'm studied on my religiosity. Exactly. Well, theology. Which makes it sound like it's all a theory and nothing's actually real, doesn't it? Yeah. Stepping aside from that, but yeah. Sea fishing in bad weather is really bad. It's not good. Coarse fishing is a lot better. Because you can set your brolly up and get underneath it. And you don't get waves breaking over the seafront and drowning you. Theo in Greek means gift of the divine, yes. So does that mean a theory means an idea that is a gift of the divine? Or Greek, it would probably be theorem, wouldn't it? We just call it theory because it's easier to say. Well, I mean, a brain wave is better than a brain fart. And the older I get, the more my brain farts. Get someone come in the shop who I've served dozens of times. I know their name. I know their postcode. And say hello. And it just goes poof, out of my head. I'm like, oh, crap. Gonna have to ask again. I think people have got used to the fact that my brain just doesn't retain that kind of information very often. And I'm not the best at recognizing faces either. So there is that. Although weirdly, I do much better with the female customers' names than I do the males. Yeah, in theory, not the same root word, unfortunately. It comes from theory. I mean, well, theoria. Yeah. Damn it. It was a good idea while it lasted, and then you had to go and Google it, didn't you, Tommy? Contemplation of truth. Oh, yeah. Just whatever you do, try not to contemplate truth media. Because none of that makes any sense from what I've seen. You know things are bad when you had to start up your own social media company so you can be on it. Because nobody else will have you. uh, yeah, there's that. What's it called? Truth Social. Yeah, something like that. Surprised it won't be Truth Social, because that's a bit close to Truth Socialist, isn't it? Started new so I could bring real stuff. Yeah, F the politics. Yeah, nah. I I don't partake in the politics, but I do get some kind of weird kick out of watching other people's politics. Politician, one who will scare you out of your money, or as someone once said, how do you tell if a politician is lying? Their lips are moving. And going in the way back machine, there was back before we had the Welsh Assembly, when there was a Welsh representative to the House of Commons, who was John Redwood. And he basically said that all the Welsh politicians were fundamentally greasy and corrupt. And they got up in arms and threatened to sue him over it. He just turned around and went, prove it. Prove you're not. For some reason, they didn't sue him. I mean, every so often you get a politician who does something like that, and you're like, okay, you're not so bad. Then you get people like Nigel Farage, or Nigel Farage, or something I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. He who was responsible for the whole Brexit thing. As asinine as it may sound, I'd much rather us be in the wild, wild west than what we have today. Yeah. Although for us over here, going back to the days of the wild, wild west, yeah, there wouldn't have been much change for us. Back then, we already had, pretty much everything laid out as it is now. To be honest, we had the Lords and the Commons and all that kind of stuff. I did support him. I had a buddy that was a front man for it in Britain First. Yeah, Britain First, UKIP, Reform Party, as it's rebranded and renamed over the years. Yeah, it's basically MAGA. It's basically our version of. But yeah, it's you do see the odd idiot going around with a "Make Britain Great Again" hat, and you're like, you really don't know your history, do you? So it's like they want us to be how we were, this big all-powerful world leader. Well, the reason we were that is because we controlled the largest empire the world has ever seen. That's the reason we had that. We're not going to get the empire back. I don't know if they thought leaving the EU would be the start of that. Yeah, all politicians are. There's different sides of the same coin. It's just which way they're going to screw you. Which way they're going to get more money out of your pocket and into theirs and their buddies. But yeah, So the Britain First, Reform Party, UKIP, EDL. Yeah, the EDL, the English Defence League, is kind of tied in with all that. And it's pretty much like the Proud Boys and Meal Team 6. Yeah. Yeah. It's just the way it is. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Although at least they're not trying to cut our education in the UK. Or trying to get the kids back down the mines. They're just using people as store. Yeah. Yeah. It's all just deflecting. It's like when the news comes out, the Black Peas and the Proud Boys. Yeah, it's not a racial thing. I think one of the UKIP representatives actually won a seat with black or coloured, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, equal rights for all, except for the people that prove they don't deserve them. We had a thing, I'll say a few years back, it was probably 20 odd years ago now, but prisoners were demanding the right to vote. So this is convicted prisoners in jail were demanding the right to vote. They, I forget where it came from, who did it, but it was like the judges basically said, no, that's part of your punishment, is that while you're in jail you can't vote. I think we should be left the hell alone. People want to suck the government's teeth can go live with the government, everyone else leave us alone. Yeah. All government needs to do is make sure everything works. Right? Countries don't need to run at a profit, just need to break even, which, let's be honest, most countries don't, especially Western countries, tend to run at a deficit. And hell, it's not too long ago we finally finished paying off World War II. Yeah. But yeah, just make sure the infrastructure works. So yeah, keep that in government control, not private. So yeah, power, gas, roads, schools, police, prisons, hospitals, doctors, all that. That's what the taxes go to pay for. The rest of it just leaves the hell alone. And only put things up in line with what the minimum wage is going up by. Because that's what's causing the problems at the moment. Everything's going up way quicker than the wages are. And I say that as somebody who does get paid above minimum wage and gets regular pay rises. I'm okay, they're not big, but yeah, it does. It goes to pay bride bungs. There's like the whole thing with a lot of the charity work that was done in the 80s and the 90s to like help out the starving kids in Africa. yes, there were famines, but we sent the money. We had big fundraisers, got loads of money together and sent the money to the country. And the rich people got richer, but the poor people were still starving. What we should have done is sent a load of food over. You know, fill a bunch of lorries up with basic foodstuffs and send that over. Not send them the money. And have some UN or, oh yeah, it'd have to be UN, wouldn't it? UN guards to make sure that it didn't get, you just pull it into this depot and oh, it's suddenly vanished, and oh, it's turned up in the shops at a vastly inflated price. Oh, right. Yeah, it's keeping the money out of the rich people's hands. Yeah, so we just send a bunch of shoes. The local cobbler goes out of business because of it. Yeah. I mean, literally every video you watch from somewhere, news or whatever, or river monsters or Jeremy Wade somewhere thousands of miles into the back of the Amazon. This tribe hasn't been contacted for blah, blah, blah years. There's someone in a bloody Real Madrid or Barcelona Messi shirt or something. I mean, a Messi shirt or a Ronaldo shirt. Or got a pair of Nike trainers. And you're thinking, something's not right there. Yeah, I mean, there's aid, which when there's a natural disaster like a famine or a flood or whatever, you help them out. You do the Christian thing, do the nice thing. But you don't keep doing it when you don't have to because, as you say, it destroys their economy. But, oh, hang on. If we control their economy, then we basically control them, and then we can ravage their land for its resources. Oh, what's that? You can't pay us? Oh, well, if you just dig up all those diamonds over there and give them to us, or that gold, or that oil, or yeah. Yeah, aid is different than some phony fundraiser for some famous person that looked good. Exactly. Um, oh, what's his name? The guy. He was a UFC fighter years ago. Can't remember his name, but he was going out into from a country. I'm going to say Congo. It probably wasn't, but and was going and living with the pygmies. And no, that's not an offensive term. It's what they call themselves. Jordan White. I can't remember the name. It was years ago. I heard about it or watched something. It might have even been on Joe Rogan. And he was actually doing good. He was doing helpful things that helped them to help themselves. He was. Yeah, I don't recall. I recall the kind of context of the story rather than specifics. Again, old. But yeah, it was. So he was going out there, and yeah, when he was going over, he'd take a whole bunch of chocolate or things like that with him, treats for the kids. But then yeah, he'd go out there, he'd work his butt off, help dig the wells, plumb them in, and that kind of thing. And if you've got a well with clean water in the village, that means you don't have to spend half the day walking back and forwards to the river. It gives you a lot more time to do other things. during the day, like, I don't know, a job. It can, something as simple as that can move you up from subsistence existence to existence, you know, and you do that, and that helps the country, it helps the people, it helps the economy, and then you get to trade with them, and it helps you or your country as well. There might be something they have that you want, but there's two ways of doing it. You can either empire it, or oh, we don't like your government. Your leader is bad. We're going to come and we're going to help you. Operation Desert Storm. Well, the second one, not the first one. The first one because of the invasion of Kuwait. The second one was purely for the oil. Admittedly, Saddam did then get hanged for war crimes, but those crimes against humanity, was it? One or the other. Multiple things he did wrong. But yes, that's the way to help, not going and go, oh, you don't have this. Here, have all this. Have all this money. Have all this. No, no. Slow and steady wins the race. Sudden massive jumps and over reliance on things don't work well. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with them. They're called buffalo bikes. And no, they're a bike, so helps people get around. Now, if you can bike somewhere, you get there a lot quicker than you do if you have to walk. And they're built to be bomb-proof, and they're also built that you can work on. I think it's something like you only need a 13 mil wrench, and you can take it apart, and you can repair it, and you can put it all back together. So it's cheap and easy to repair, and they train up people in the local towns or villages to repair the bikes. So they get the bikes cheap, and they start a business up with someone who fixes them, who's local. That's how to do it. You take time out of their day that could be spent doing something more productive by reducing their travel time or their need to go to the river to get water or whatever. And that's how things get better. But when we first started farming, it was like, okay, we now don't have to spend all day searching for food. So more people can do other things. And then civilizations happen. Now, let's give the Aboriginal tribes laptops and camcorders, all the internet they have. Yeah. And then make them pay for the internet. Because, we're going to give them stuff and then we're going to make them pay for it. And then we're going to make sure that it only lasts a couple of years before it dies. And then, they need a new one because they've just got addicted to it. Yeah. Anyway, I need a quick whittle. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Oh, I also need to stretch. Oh, jeez. Ow. we go. I'm back. Let's have a bit of a laugh, shall we? Shall you see how crazy the limia go when I feed them? You should chuck a bit of food in there and see what happens. Some bigger bits for the, so they do sinkies. And some pellets so they sink down, and then the cories and the pleckies can get them. Okay. You overfeed your tanks. Yes, well, it's water change day tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter. It usually brings everyone out of the woodwork. Although, yeah, obviously you can't see just how many juvenile limia are in there at the moment. Actually, they are starting to show up, scooting around. Yeah, they're not the baby ones that you can see. They're the sort of 3/4 inch long ones. For every one of them, there's like 2 or 3 baby ones. And the females are all looking good and fat and full as well, so we're going to have a lot more soon. Yeah. That was what the other thing I was going to get up for. Grab me pipe saw so I can knock some of this ash out. Yeah. I'm waiting for the day I'll get stopped by the police with that in my pocket. And what's that for? Cleaning my pipe. It's too long. No, it's standard size. It's a standard size pipe cleaning tool. And it breaks up the cake. So otherwise you just end up with a whole load of, well, a big chunk of basically burnt back in ash, and then it won't relight because it acts as an insulator. So yes, yeah. Ooh, need to clean out. Yeah. So what else have we got? What am I doing this week, other than garden work and water changes and a bike ride? I'll get a video up, at least one. I promise. I know I said I'd do it this week, and I kind of forgot about it. Because the garden's really starting to look something now, and I say nearly done. And as I say, next year it'll be the front garden. Joy. And I will film one about that air pump. What else? Yeah, I'll say if I might go and get a new phone, but it's that case of not wanting to go up to Norwich just to do that, and there's nothing else I really want to do or wander around or get. At least not in the city centre anyway. And the places that have the kind of stuff I might be interested in having a look around are outside the city centre. Well, if I do get a new pair of glasses, or when I get a new pair of glasses, I will be able to see properly again close up. So therefore, I might start the modelling up again, at least a little bit, because it's kind of hard to do when you can't really see what you're doing. There's a sort of range that I work at when I'm building a model is the range where it's just the perfectly wrong range where looking through my glasses is blurry and looking under my glasses or over my glasses is blurry. So yeah, get some new glasses and I might be able to start doing that again, which would be good for the winter to actually be able to have a hobby I can do in the winter. I know fish keeping is a hobby, but there's only so long you can just sit and watch a tank or do water changes. Yeah, might be nice to just actually get up in the cave, keep it in at least a kind of semi-tidy state so I can actually work up there. You never know, might even video or stream some builds or painting or something like that. I think I might more go down the painting route than the actual modelling route. We shall see. It's not like I have mad painting skills. It's the building I'm good at. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about? There's half a dozen of you here. Someone wants to waffle or ask a question? Speak now or hold your peace till next week. No, yay, Happy Car is out feeding. Hello, Bert. Just laying brick. Laying brick as in bricklaying or sitting on the toilet, dropping a log. Is the yeah. That's been used before many a time. I'm just going to go and lay some bricks. Oh, yeah, yeah. Might do some painting. Maybe that's something I can do then this week as well. Have a bit of a sort out in the man cave because, as is a room I tend not to go into unless I need to get something out of it, then it tends to stay fairly mucky and messy as I'll get stuff out, then not put it back away again. So yeah, have a good tidy up in there might be an idea. Clear off the bench. Hmm. That does sound a good plan if we get some bad weather this week, or good weather in my behalf, as in not ridiculously hot and sunny. Oh, yeah, raining again. Yeah, I'll tidy up there. Oh, I wonder. That's a possibility. No, no, I won't do it. I was wondering if I could set up HMS Craptop up there and use that to stream from up there, but that thing's going so slowly, grinding to a halt so quickly, and really struggles with anything above 360p. It's well, it's basically being bricked this year anyway, so um, yeah. I'll see. I might just spend a few hours and just sit up there and chill doing stuff. It's Bert and Ernie. See, they are both still alive. They're just getting rather hidey uppy in their old age. Mm, yeah, so I've still got this tank, this fuel flex here, which is still empty, is actually turned off now. I figured, what's the point in keeping it heated and filtered when there's nothing living in it? Turn it off and don't worry about cycles. They soon happen when they need to. Uh, so I don't need any. Yep, I knew there was a bloody mozzie in here as well. Um, yeah, I think I will. I think I'll have a sort out in the cave one day, and then maybe do a bit of a tour around the cave because, well, I say tour, mostly of the workbench and where I do build models. It basically looks like a miniature version of Home Depot in there, or Lowe's, or Bunnings. Sorry, Bunnos, to give it the correct Aussie name, or B&Q if you're in England. Yeah, it looks like one of those just racks of paints and loads of tools everywhere. Yeah, probably half the paints have dried up and gone solid now, and oh well, soon figure it out. Yeah, might just go with painting some like uh, um, getting some resin figures off of Etsy or somewhere and painting those up. Or I did see they do them on Temu as well. It just takes a long while to get here. I know they're dirt cheap and it's free delivery, and they keep trying to give me free gifts. Yeah, we will see about it. It was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I could go Lego, but then Lego and those kind of things are pretty quick to build and then take up a lot of space. And I don't really have much in the way of, if any, shelf space anywhere. So you like build it, go, yay, it's built now. Where the hell am I going to put it? All right, take it all apart again, put it back in the box, give it a few years and rebuild it. An actual Lego is just prohibitively expensive these days, so won't be doing that route. Games Workshop figures and stuff are getting ridiculously expensive as well. They've been expensive for quite a long time, but they're just massively overpriced for what you get these days. Would I rather pay 40 quid for like 2 sprues to make one thing out of styrene, or would I rather pay similar amount to get something much bigger in resin with more detail? The latter. But they do still have some really, really cool stuff. So then it's just a case of hunting through Etsy to find the one where someone has 3D scanned it and made it into a resin kit that is 3D printed. I mean, ideally, I would like some kind of Cthulhu ornament or Dagon to go by the pond or something like that. But I know none of the paints and stuff I use would survive outside very long at all, or in a fish tank. Well, it would be cool to have like a Cthulhu in a fish tank. Probably about the only thing I would have that wasn't real, as it were, like an ornament. Other than obviously Cookie Monster up there, because Cookie Monster was a present. Starting to lose his paint now, though. And too many plex have nommed, and they're starting to nom the paint off. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Maybe start out with something simple to build or paint first, and then see how I go. Sounds a good plan to me. Anyway. Yeah, I'll do. It's just then, what do I do? What do I paint? What kind of figures? Do I do nasty, evil, demony looking things, or undead, or monsters, or scantily clad ladies? Apparently that's the thing these days, is if you paint female figures, then you're apparently misogynistic and a pervert. So, well, no, I'd just rather look at a female form than a male form. Oh, well, let's get the rest of this actually. Paint Deans of King Solomon. Oh, I'm sure I could find something nastier than that. There's plenty of Lovecraftian ones out there. It's just finding the ones that look good, that look scary or horrifying. Sherry, how the hell are you? Been a while. Good to see you, my dear. Yeah, I'm okay. It's just everyone else. Yeah, so. See, I'm not one of those who wants a cute looking Cthulhu model. I want one that looks properly demonic and evil. So yeah, maybe. Let's say this is reliant on me getting a new pair of glasses and being able to see properly, and hopefully not bifocals or varifocals, because that would be a nightmare. Watch more videos and live streams. I'm the same. I watch all sorts of videos. I say all sorts. Um, tend not to watch too much fishy content anymore. Um, I do watch Tommy, because the Aquatic News Network. That's always worth a chuckle, and that's something I find missing from a lot of fishy content is a lot of it is taken very seriously. And you can be serious, you can be covering a serious subject and still have a laugh and a joke. But obviously that's not to everyone's taste, and not everyone has that kind of sense of humour. Some people get upset when I call them fishilies or plecklets. Has fish fang collapsed? I wouldn't say it's collapsed as such. I mean, I've not really been in the loop that much. I think there's been some minor fallings out along the way, and kind of people have split off into their own kind of little niches and corners, and like any of these things do, start out with the best of intentions, and then things go down the pan. People start falling out, and then people start taking sides, and yeah, the usual happens everywhere. It's happened in the naval history community. Yeah, Chinese whispers, things getting taken the wrong way. There's a lot of it is the problem with, you read something in chat, much like social media, you read it, you can't necessarily tell what the meaning is. If someone's being sarcastic or having a bit of a laugh, and some people take it seriously, and I think everyone knows I'm just a Mickey taker, so no one takes anything I say too seriously. And I think if I was having a go at someone, it'd be fairly obvious. Well, don't do it subtly, but yeah. So I basically just decided I don't want to start beefs with anyone. No one's really done anything that's peed me off or upset me. Plus, work and stuff, so I don't get to join in all the live streams and what have you. So, yeah. I mean, if I'm about and I spot there's a live stream on, then yeah, I'll join in. But As I say, there are. Yeah, so I think a lot of the smaller content creators, I think, quite, how do I put this without upsetting people? There's not many people here. I think some people got into it thinking they'd blow up overnight and get big and make money out of it, and then they didn't. Some people can't necessarily take criticism very well. And some of the younger women may have got some comments they didn't want, if you know what I mean. And that's not necessarily from fish fan people, that'd be from, you know, the internet's like. Yeah, just usual internet stuff, really. But let's say Mr. No Social Media presence here doesn't pay any attention to or take any part in. Um, but yeah, and I think there are quite a lot of people who, well, there were people who spent a lot of money on setups and studios and all this kind of stuff and then didn't get any return on their investment. Let's say it's a niche hobby. And if you want people who aren't really into it, you know, then no. Some people want a certain kind of content, you know, flashy, super high def, heavily edited, scripted, all this kind of stuff, so it looks polished and professional. Well, that takes a lot of work, and I can't be bothered to do that, so I just hit record and start talking. Much like my live streams, except I usually have a clue what I'm going to talk about in a video. Although a lot of them I just made up on the spot. Uh, but yeah, and it's not for everyone. Some people found out they don't necessarily like being on camera. Life happens, you know. You may start with the best will in the world, and then something happens, and you suddenly don't have the time to do that anymore. Yeah, I like both ways too. Um, and a lot of it is context dependent on what I'm watching. So if I'm watching something for entertainment purposes, then yeah, more polished and professional is better. But if I'm watching something to learn something specific about something specific, then the actual what is being said to me is more important. Anything exciting going on? Not hugely. I mean, the Amica splendens are breeding, the Limia are multiplying dramatically again, bristle noses everywhere. Um, the most exciting thing going on at the moment is the garden and the fact that the comet goldfish have been doing the breedies. So we've got baby comet goldfish swimming around again. Again, I say, because, well, there are some little ones in there and there are some bigger ones. So they've obviously been doing it a couple of years and I just haven't noticed. But yeah, that's been my latest project, is sorting my back garden out. And I'm getting there now. But yeah, so it's just more fuel for me to throw on the fire about pond filtering and maintenance. Your pond's not big enough. It needs this filter. It needs this. It needs that. You need to clear all the muck out of it. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to bring your fish in over winter. Doesn't do any of that, and his fish are breeding. Huh? I don't even feed the damn thing, let alone do water changes or filters or, oh God. It's a naturalized pond, let's say. Obviously, it's man-made, but it's been in there. Well, I mean, it got redone. Oh dear, what, 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe, because it sprung a leak. Yeah, it's naturalized. It's full of, there's silt in the bottom. There's algae. It's not the goldfish people are turning against. It's because it's gotten out there now that goldfish don't live for 2 weeks and die in the bowl. They need a decent sized tank because they get big. I mean, my bigger comets are like that, like that. Um, it's not so much the goldfish that the issue; it's the way people keep them. Because we all did it historically as kids. We had goldfish that were in a bowl. Might have had a old school box filter like the one in the corner of that tank. We didn't necessarily use dechlorinator. We just water changed it straight out of the tap. And yeah, the fish didn't last very long, and they had really unpleasant lives if they did. Having to have a sit, hold no endurance thing. Got the fence done, laid brick for a corner garden bed as well. Well, that sounds like a lot of work to me. I'd call that a day's work. I don't exactly do that much. But I like goldfish as well. Um, Not a fan of the fancies with the weird eyes and what looks like the brain on the outside of their head. Yeah, we didn't know any better, so we just did what we did. And now we know better, but not everyone knows better. So when someone does it wrong, they get a lot of hate for it. And I also don't think some people realize that a lot of things are staged purely for the internet. Like here's my better, and it's in some tiny little bowl or in a wine glass almost. There's all the reams of hate, and you're like, you do realize that's just for the camera. There was one I saw where you could clearly see the tank in the background. You're like, yeah, that's the tank that fish lives in. Chances are it probably hides up a lot, and they wanted to film a video, so put it in something small it can't hide in. Yeah, and it's the same with the aquascapey type videos where the tank always looks absolutely pristine and amazing. It looked like that for that video. That took a lot of work to get it to look like that for that video. And I guarantee you, within a couple of days, it's going to be the same as any other fish tank. Yeah, nowhere to stage wildlife. Yeah, get the story you get by what's happening at the time. You've got to come up with a story. Yeah, you do. I'm like the classic example. God knows why it still gets so many views. Is my clown pleco video. The species profile on clown plecos. I mean, admittedly, it's accurate because you don't see the clown plecos in the video. I feel sorry for bears. Yeah, they've been so inbred now that they bred in all kinds of genetic diseases and abnormalities and God knows what. Yeah, plants. Yeah, You won't get accused of abusing your plants. It's not like you can forget to water them, is it? Just something in there that's going to produce fertilizer. So maybe some snails or live bearers, something small and simple. Yeah. In the field correspondent reports, scholars found Steve Irwin meets Monty Python. Just don't go hugging any stingrays. Or as the meme went, stingrays love foreplay. I don't think I know about clown plecos that have tiger stripes. They are kind of dark brown with yellowy brown sort of stripy patterns on them. They get to like maybe that long, and they spend all their time hiding. I mean, I do see them fairly regularly now. Now they are fully adult and happy in the tank. Yeah, rays are cool. They're just kind of like a friendly shark, really, aren't they? Well, most shark species are fairly friendly. The ones people tend to be scared of aren't the ones that are going to cause the problems most of the time. Like, oh no, bull shark! Or they're like, oh, great white, and you're like, yeah, don't worry about the great white. Not in clear water. Worry about the bull shark in the murky water. Yeah, I mean, not that you'll ever catch me swimming, but I'd rather be swimming with a mako than with a bull shark or a tiger shark. Great white attacks are pretty much because they confuse people on surfboards with seals. I usually take one bite, realise it's not a seal, and let go. Problem is, a bite from something that size is usually pretty dangerous. Not actually fatal most of the time. There are freshwater fish. Yeah, I mean, just stay out of the water, and then sharks aren't a problem. Yeah, and that's the thing with bulls is they can live in fresh water. They're finding the same in Oz as well, aren't they? They're finding them all the way up the rivers, like many miles inland, and people are getting attacked in the river, and it's not a croc, it's a shark. What the hell? Yeah, bull sharks are happy in murky water, and they're happy in fresh water. And people tend to be in murky fresh water more than they do in perfectly clear salt water. Because if it's perfectly clear, the shark can see that you're not prey. However, if you're in murky water, it can't see that you're not prey until it's bitten you and found out the hard way. Uh, Bull sharks, no. We're not going to endanger bull sharks in a hurry. It's all the open ocean sharks that are being farmed basically for shark fin soup. That's the problem there. Yeah, murky water does bring out a different behaviour. The reason they're there, food. Yes, they've gone there to feed. Because the things that live there can't necessarily see the big shark coming until it's too late. But yeah, just stay out of the water and you don't have to worry about water predators. It's quite simple. Worked for me so far. I've not been bitten by a fish. Well, unless you count betters, live bearers, shell dwellers, bicher. Yeah, I've been bitten by all them. I do that all the time. And it'll be a simple word. It won't be something really long and complicated. It'll be an easy word that I can't think of. But anywho, my time is up. I do need to get something to eat because I'm not eating yet today. It will purposely destroy invasive species. Culling. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, thanks everyone for being here, for showing up. Hope you have a good week. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Bank holiday Monday do 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 do. Bank holiday.